Hey coach, hope you're enjoying the video. Make sure you subscribe and like. We love those. Also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. If you want to become a better coach in less than $1 a day, you can do that. My mentor, my personal email address, I will help you become a better basketball coach. Go over and check it out. Let's head back to the video.
All right, welcome to the Basketball Leadership Podcast. Coach, by the time this goes up, we're both going to be much more relaxed because the season will be over.
Oh man,
I know. My wife's always like, "Welcome home." Yeah, when the season. What is it right here? We interrupt this marriage to bring you basketball.
bring you a 5-month basketball season. Yeah,
Well, yeah.
I don't know about you. I'm sure every coach feels the same way, but win or lose, the last game, to me, I just feel the weight of the world almost it's like a release from your body.
Yeah.
Like all this build up, I write about this a lot. I talk about the 8 realities of being a coach, and the number one is it will consume you. And if you're a good coach, it consumes you. And what I mean by that, it consumes your mind. It consumes everything. You're always thinking about it, right? You always
Well,
have something in the
you're
back of your
always
mind.
thinking about the boy. Like our girls played their first tournament game last night, and I let the boys know during the day, hey, we should support the girls. Let's
Yep.
get out, And I gave them time to get something to eat and come back, and they were all there last night. And it's like they're
Yep.
all together, and it's like what's hard for me, and this has not gotten easier over time. I don't want to. I mean, it's a death of a group. Like that's the finality of it is what like always hits me so hard.
Oh, totally.
And it's just that group will never be that group ever again because next year a new group's going to come in and it's going to have different. It's like a classroom. Like anyone that's taught, my 6-hour AP stats and my 7th-hour AP stats have different personalities and different strengths and different weaknesses, just like a team. So I know that it's gone. That group is gone. And I'm never going to have that group. It's like, that's what hits me so hard. And it's those hard locker rooms and it's those hard, there's only a handful of teams that are ever happy at the end of March.
And it's so hard I don't know. I find it's so hard to come up with the words in those situations because you've got, that's the finality of the season, the emotion, the relationships, the heartache, all of that. And then what I was talking about is that, that week after and reflecting on it and just the release of everything. But yeah, you go into that last game, so much time, it really goes to the process is the prize, right?
Yeah.
There's very few people that get to end their seasons with a win or get to end their seasons in the state tournament or the state championship. It always ends. And it's the journey along the way. It's the process, the memories, the experiences, and all of that. It's the story. We've talked about it's a book. Every season is a book. And
it is a book.
I gave that speech to my team on the bus last night after our game. Like, we just wrapped up our regular season. This is part of our journey in our book. And now we've got the final chapters. And one of my players is like, it's the epilogue, coach. I go, it's the epilogue, Keeg, like, what's that going to be,
Right. And it's
I
weird
told them last night.
It's different with basketball that there's another, it's like your season's starting over.
We all have that talk 0-0. I told our kids last night, and I know we're wrapping up the reflection of the season, but you get to the end and I'm like, as we start this tournament run, I want you all to think about being that 3rd, 4th, and 5th grader in your driveway, shooting buckets, dreaming of these moments, dreaming of this postseason run, dreaming of these experiences, because that's what it's all about. This is about fun and memories and the journey. And when we reflect on a season, I'd say the last 5 to 10 years for me, especially, I talk about memories like all season long. We're trying to create as many memories as we write this book, as we create this season. Memories with team dinners, memories with, fun in the locker room, memories with great wins or tough losses. because that's what you remember.
Right.
You know, that's what we remember 20 years from now, 30 years from now.
Yeah. And I think the reflection is interesting because it doesn't get any easier.
No.
But it's weird. It's almost like it's winter, and then like after that reflection, after a couple days go by, and after I have my final team meeting, and after I get my returners back, it's almost like a rebirth. All right, what are
Totally.
we gonna do? What it's like, I mean, it's literally what keeps me young in some respects, I think, because it's like, okay, what are we gonna do next year? How are we gonna get better? What are we gonna do? What's my reflect? So I always
It's
do a reflection on what did we do well? What didn't we do well? How can we get better? Blah, 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 as a
it's
coaching staff,
constantly,
I know.
and that's when you say coaching is a consumable job. It consumes you, and I have one of my or it's not free, it's really inexpensive, but I have a postseason playbook. And so I have all these reflective questions to ask yourself, to ask your assistants, to ask your kids, to reflect on the season. Because yeah, you're reflecting on this season, but you're automatically thinking about next year. You're automatically thinking about your team, and it's the best time to reflect. And I just encourage everyone, once the season's done and you have those wrap up meetings and everything, to sit down with your coaches or yourself and just write down, reflect everything that went well, everything you want to get better, ideas while it's fresh in your mind. Because you get to summer, you get to late spring, and your mindset's different. It's good to, while it's fresh in your mind, write those things down so that you have them and you can go back to them. Because I find myself always going back to my notes all summer long, all spring, postseason. And it's how you grow. I think it's the whole concept of continuous improvement. It's how you keep getting better. You're always reflecting on what went well, what you can do better, and how can I apply that next year.
Yep. My advice would be do it before, like do it within a week or two of the end of the
Agree.
season. And
Agree.
and I always do it before then. And then what my rule is, then spring break is no basketball. Like I won't think
Yeah.
about it. I won't do it. I won't blah blah blah. I shut off. That's
Are
the
you
only
able to do
time all
that?
year I shut
Are
off.
you
is
able to
spring
do
break.
that?
I am during spring
Good.
break. I am. Part
Yeah.
of my wife and I kind of thing was we'd always go somewhere for spring break, especially when the kids were little, and
Yep.
I could. I mean, it was a lot easier to do that when we won it, but it was
Yeah.
but but then when I came back from spring break, I knew the switch was turned back down. This case, like, what are we doing? And there's things I gotta like prior to this, like I'm worried about summer camp and things like that. But it's there's definitely a shift, but I think you have to be able to turn off
You do.
as you get like if you can't this can't be 365, it can't be, or you won't do it for 35 years.
You
You
know
have to
what?
figure an off switch off. You have to figure out what your off switch is.
What I found, I'm better at this now, especially since I started writing and doing everything that I'm doing online. I would get done with the season, and we'd have our meeting and everything, and I would come home after school, and it's like my body was in shock.
Right.
Like I'm so used to going 100 miles an hour. I come home after school and I don't have practice. And I'm like, what do I do? Like
Right.
it took me a week to like get, and it
Back
drove my
into the
wife
group.
crazy because she's used to kind of being independent on her own. And then all of a
Right.
sudden I'm back and I'm in her business all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. And it's like there's like when I go on walks or I exercise, I refuse to do anything basketball related. I wouldn't listen to this podcast. I personally would not listen to this podcast because I want to do something that's not basketball because I want to
Yep.
relax when I'm doing something like that. So I listen to
Yep.
different types of things when I'm exercising, when I'm doing that. But
Where's your spring break trip this year?
we're going to Ireland,
Ooh,
actually,
that's right.
because my son's in the UK. So
Yep.
yeah. So by the time this goes up, we'll be back, I think. Yeah.
We're heading down to the Keys. So
Ooh, that'll be fun. I've never
yeah.
been to the Keys. It's not a beachy thing. from what I understand.
No.
But it's more you're gonna get you'll get good weather in the Keys.
Yeah. I've been there on a boat. My parents did the Great Loop, which would be a whole nother podcast. But I hopped on their boat from the Keys up to Miami, so that I haven't been on the island much, but I've been in the water by it. So
and it's great. You know, that's
yeah.
Well, you're what, 60 miles from Cuba, something like that. 50 miles. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
It'll
you're
be
gonna
beautiful.
get. It will be warm. It will be.
It will.
That's kind of the theory. Is you just
Vitamin
want
D.
warm. I know, vitamin D. All right. Till next week, Coach.
See you, Coach.
Thanks for watching, Coach. Make sure you go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Make sure you subscribe so you get notified every time we come back on. But you will not be disappointed with teachhoops.com. 14-day free trial. Let's go check it out. Have a great day.